The air hangs heavy, a tapestry woven from shadows and silence. Imagine, if you will, a throne room bathed in the dim, flickering light of a single, distant candle. The stone floor is cold beneath your bare feet, each step echoing softly in the vast, echoing space. The very air seems to hold its breath, a palpable tension hanging between the towering columns and the ornate, yet menacing, throne itself. Dust motes dance in the weak light, their slow, graceful movements a stark contrast to the stillness that permeates the chamber. This is not a place of warmth or welcome, but a sanctuary of fear, a silent testament to the chilling power wielded by those who once occupied this very seat. The shadows stretch and writhe, taking on monstrous forms in the periphery of your vision, playing tricks on the eyes and whispering tales of cruelty and oppression. The silence, broken only by the occasional, shuddering sigh, speaks volumes of the terror that has permeated these walls for centuries. Listen closely, and you might hear the faintest whispers carried on the night air, the echoes of countless voices stifled, their pleas for mercy lost in the vastness of the room. These are the whispers of the forgotten, the echoes of suffering endured beneath the weight of absolute power. Tonight, we delve into the depths of history, into the lives of those who held dominion over kingdoms and empires, their reigns marked not by benevolence, but by a chilling tyranny. We will explore the reigns of monarchs whose names are synonymous with oppression, whose legacies are etched in the blood and tears of their subjects. Picture the cold, hard stone of the throne, the weight of the crown pressing down upon the brow of these rulers, a symbol of their unyielding authority. But beneath the glittering surface, beneath the outward display of power and grandeur, lies a darkness, a relentless hunger for control that consumed them utterly. Their stories are not tales of heroism or glory, but rather cautionary narratives, chilling reminders of the fragility of human life in the face of unchecked ambition. We journey tonight not into a land of fairy tales, but into a realm where power is absolute, where the whims of a single individual can dictate the fate of nations. We will encounter rulers whose cruelty knew no bounds, whose reigns were marked by violence, oppression, and the systematic suppression of their people. These are not stories to be celebrated, but rather narratives to be examined, understood, and ultimately learned from. For within these tales of tyranny, we find profound lessons about the nature of power, the dangers of unchecked ambition, and the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of adversity. Tonight, we embark upon a journey through the shadows of history, a voyage into the hearts and minds of some of history's most formidable and fearsome rulers. Prepare yourself to encounter the chilling realities of their reigns, to witness the immense suffering they inflicted, and to ponder the enduring legacy of their tyrannical rule. The whispers in this throne room speak of power, of oppression, and of the enduring human capacity for both great cruelty and remarkable resilience. Let us begin. The weight of the crown, the cold stone of the throne, the chilling whispers in the shadows. These are the hallmarks of the tyrannical reigns we are about to explore. Each story, each name, represents a chapter in a dark chronicle of power, a testament to the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition. Close your eyes, let the shadows envelop you, and prepare to be transported to a time when fear reigned supreme, a time when the whims of a single individual could determine the fate of millions. The journey begins now. Listen closely, and let the whispers guide you. For within these tales of tyranny, there lies a deeper truth, a profound understanding of the human condition, and the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of overwhelming adversity. Each story, a chilling reflection of the human capacity for both cruelty and compassion. Each monarch, a testament to the complex tapestry of human nature, woven with threads of power, ambition, and ultimately, the inevitable erosion of time. We will traverse centuries, kingdoms, and empires, uncovering the dark secrets and hidden truths behind the gilded facades of absolute rule. This is a journey into the heart of darkness, a voyage into the chilling realities of tyrannical power. Let's begin. Each reign a testament to the fragile balance between power and responsibility, between ambition and consequence. We will explore the intricate tapestry of their lives, revealing the complex motivations and devastating consequences that shaped their legacies. We will uncover the hidden stories, the whispered secrets, the untold tragedies that lie beneath the surface of history's grand narratives. This is not just a recounting of facts and dates, but a journey into the human heart, an exploration of the complexities of power, the seductive allure of ambition, and the enduring consequences of tyranny. Each story, a chilling reflection of the human capacity for both great cruelty and remarkable resilience. So, settle in. Let the gentle rhythm of my voice lull you into a state of peaceful contemplation as we delve into the captivating, yet unsettling stories of history's most tyrannical monarchs. The whispers await. Now, let us turn our attention to a name forever etched in the annals of infamy: Nero, Emperor of Rome. His reign, a tapestry woven with threads of extravagance, cruelty, and ultimately devastating tragedy, serves as a chilling example of the destructive potential of unchecked power. Close your eyes and allow yourself to be transported to the heart of ancient Rome, a city ablaze. Imagine the scene. The year is 64 AD. The city, a sprawling metropolis teeming with life, is suddenly engulfed in flames. The Great Fire of Rome, a catastrophic inferno that raged for days, leaving a trail of destruction in its wake. Picture the panicked cries of the citizens, the crackling roar of the flames consuming their homes, their livelihoods, their very lives. The smoke choked the air, a suffocating blanket obscuring the once familiar streets, transforming the vibrant heart of the empire into a nightmarish landscape of fire and chaos. The flames danced and writhed, consuming everything in their path: grand palaces, humble dwellings, temples dedicated to the gods, all reduced to ash and rubble. The air grew thick with the stench of burning wood, the acrid smell of smoke stinging the eyes and filling the lungs. The screams of the terrified, the desperate pleas for help, all mingled together in a symphony of fear and despair. Families were torn apart, friends lost to the inferno, the city's intricate social fabric unraveling as the flames relentlessly advanced. Amidst this chaos, amidst the unimaginable suffering of his people, Nero, the emperor himself, remained strangely detached. While the city burned, he is said to have retreated to his opulent palace, indulging in his extravagant pleasures, seemingly oblivious to the cataclysm unfolding around him. Accounts describe him watching the conflagration from a safe distance, even reciting poetry and singing as the flames devoured his empire. This detached response fueled rumors, whispers that spread like wildfire through the devastated city. Some whispered that Nero had deliberately orchestrated the fire, a callous act designed to clear the way for his ambitious urban renewal projects. Others claimed that he had watched the conflagration with a perverse sense of fascination, finding a twisted amusement in the destruction and suffering of his subjects. These rumors, whether true or false, serve to illustrate the chilling disregard for human life that characterized his reign. Nero's reign was defined by a profound disconnect from his people, a stark contrast to the expected role of an emperor. His extravagance was legendary, his cruelty notorious. He squandered the empire's resources on lavish spectacles and personal indulgences, while his subjects struggled to survive under his oppressive rule. He indulged in artistic pursuits, playing the lyre and composing poetry, seemingly unconcerned with the plight of his citizens. The Great Fire of Rome serves as a stark reminder of the catastrophic consequences that can arise when power is wielded without compassion or restraint. It is a chilling testament to the destructive potential of unchecked ambition and the devastating impact of a ruler's indifference to the suffering of his people. The image of Nero, seemingly unmoved by the destruction and despair around him, remains a potent symbol of the dangers of unchecked power and the devastating consequences of tyranny. The flames may have subsided, the ashes settled, but the echoes of that terrible night linger still, a stark reminder of the human cost of Nero's reign. His name, forever linked to the Great Fire of Rome, serves as a cautionary tale, a chilling testament to the destructive nature of absolute power and the devastating consequences of a ruler's indifference to the suffering of his people. The whispers of that catastrophic event continue to echo through the corridors of history, a haunting reminder of the fragility of civilization and the enduring impact of tyrannical rule. The destruction may have been physical, but the scars on the soul of Rome and the memory of Nero's callous indifference remain indelible. The story of Nero and the Great Fire of Rome is not merely a historical account. It is a cautionary narrative, a chilling reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the devastating consequences of tyranny. It serves as a testament to the enduring human capacity for both extraordinary cruelty and remarkable resilience. The flames may have been extinguished, but the embers of this tragic event continue to glow, serving as a perpetual warning against the perils of unchecked ambition and the importance of compassion in leadership. The whispers of Rome, burned and broken, still speak volumes. Let us carry this lesson forward, remembering the devastating consequences of tyranny and striving to create a world where compassion and justice prevail. The memory of Nero's reign serves as a constant reminder of the importance of empathy and responsibility in leadership, and a potent warning against the dangers of unchecked power. Let us heed its lessons well. Now, let us journey further into the shadows of history, to a time when the Roman Empire trembled under the erratic rule of Gaius Julius Caesar Augustus Germanicus, better known as Caligula. His name, meaning little boots, a childhood nickname, belies the immense power he wielded and the terror he inspired. Close your eyes and let the whispers of his reign transport you to the heart of ancient Rome. Imagine the hushed tones, the fearful glances exchanged in the bustling marketplaces and shadowed alleyways of the city. A palpable sense of unease permeated the very air, a chilling premonition of the unpredictable actions of their emperor. Caligula's reign was a tempestuous storm, a chaotic dance between moments of apparent sanity and horrifying displays of cruelty and madness. His ascent to power had been swift, his youth promising. But the promise quickly crumbled, replaced by a reign marked by capricious whims and acts of unspeakable brutality. He reveled in his absolute authority, using it not for the betterment of his empire, but for his own perverse amusement. His behavior was often erratic, his moods shifting with the capriciousness of the Roman weather. One moment, he would be engaging in acts of lavish generosity. The next, he would descend into fits of rage, unleashing his fury upon his courtiers and his subjects alike. Accounts of his reign are filled with tales of his bizarre and often cruel actions. He is said to have appointed his horse, Incitatus, to the prestigious position of consul, a blatant mockery of Roman tradition and a chilling demonstration of his absolute disregard for authority and decorum. Imagine the whispers spreading through the Senate, the hushed conversations among the senators, the fear that gripped the very heart of the Roman power structure. His cruelty extended to his subjects, his whims transforming into instruments of torture and oppression. He delighted in inflicting pain and suffering, his punishments arbitrary and often excessive. The lives of his subjects hung precariously in the balance, subject to the unpredictable shifts of his mood. The fear that gripped the Roman Empire was not merely a political reality. It was a visceral, ever-present dread. One can almost feel the palpable tension in the air, the hushed whispers of fear among the citizens, the constant uncertainty of what the next day might bring under Caligula's erratic rule. His actions were unpredictable, his motivations often inscrutable, his cruelty a chilling reminder of the destructive potential of unchecked power. The accounts of his reign are filled with anecdotes of his bizarre and often cruel behavior. He is said to have indulged in orgies of debauchery, his sexual perversions, shocking even by the standards of the decadent Roman Empire. He treated his subjects with callous indifference, his whims often resulting in their suffering and death. He amassed immense wealth, using it not for the good of his people, but for his own extravagant pleasures. His cruelty extended beyond the realm of the political. The stories of his personal vendettas, the arbitrary executions, the suffering he inflicted on those who cross his path, paint a vivid picture of his tyrannical nature. These acts were not mere aberrations. They were integral to his reign, highlighting the terrifying reality of his power and its devastating consequences. The whispers of his name still carry a chilling resonance, a testament to the fear he instilled in the hearts of his subjects. His reign serves as a poignant reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked power and the fragility of civilization when leadership descends into madness. The echoes of his cruelty, his capriciousness, and his utter disregard for human life linger to this day, a haunting reminder of the darker aspects of human nature and the terrifying potential of tyranny. Caligula's reign was a terrifying spectacle, a chaotic blend of extravagance and cruelty, of sanity and madness. It was a period of profound instability, where the very foundations of the Roman Empire seemed to tremble under the weight of his erratic behavior. His story remains a chilling reminder of the destructive potential of unchecked power, a stark warning against the dangers of tyranny and the importance of responsible leadership. The echoes of his reign, a symphony of fear and uncertainty, continue to resonate through the corridors of history. His legacy is not simply a historical footnote. It is a cautionary tale, a chilling reminder of the fragility of civilization and the devastating consequences of unchecked power. The image of Caligula, the emperor consumed by his own madness, serves as a potent symbol of the dangers of tyranny and the importance of responsible leadership. Let his story be a cautionary tale, a reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked power and the fragility of societies ruled by fear. The whispers of his reign continue to echo through time, a haunting reminder of the darkness that can lurk within the hearts of men and the importance of safeguarding against the rise of tyranny. Let us remember Caligula's reign not simply as a historical event, but as a profound lesson in the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of responsible leadership. The echoes of his madness still whisper through the ages. Now, let us turn our gaze eastward to the vast and frozen landscapes of 16th century Russia, where the chilling reign of Ivan IV, known as Ivan the Terrible, cast a long shadow over the land. Picture the biting wind whistling through the snow-laden forests, the icy breath of winter mirroring the icy grip of his rule. Ivan's reign was a tapestry woven with threads of ambition, paranoia, and unbridled brutality. He ascended to the throne at a young age, inheriting a kingdom riven by internal strife and external threats. His early years were marked by a certain degree of reform and progress, but this veneer of benevolence would soon crack, revealing the terrifying depths of his tyrannical nature. The key to understanding Ivan's reign lies in the shadowy figure of the oprichniki, his personal secret police. Imagine them, clad in black, their distinctive attire a chilling symbol of fear and oppression. They rode through the land, their presence a harbinger of violence and death. They were not mere enforcers of the law. They were instruments of Ivan's paranoia, his eyes and ears throughout the kingdom, ruthlessly eliminating any perceived threat to his authority. Their methods were brutal, their actions swift and merciless. Accusations were rarely substantiated, confessions often extracted through torture. Exile, imprisonment, and execution were commonplace, the victims ranging from high-ranking boyars to humble peasants. The oprichniki were a force of terror, their very existence a constant reminder of Ivan's absolute power and the precariousness of life under his rule. Ivan's paranoia was a driving force behind his cruelty. He saw enemies everywhere, real and imagined. His suspicion extended to those closest to him, leading to purges that decimated the ranks of the nobility and shattered the fragile fabric of Russian society. Imagine the fear that gripped the hearts of his courtiers, the constant dread of falling victim to his unpredictable whims. Trust was a luxury they could ill afford. The violence and executions that characterized Ivan's reign were not isolated incidents. They were systemic, a chilling reflection of his tyrannical nature. Entire cities were ravaged, populations decimated, and the land scarred by bloodshed. The echoes of his cruelty resonated throughout the kingdom, creating an atmosphere of pervasive fear and uncertainty. The very air seemed thick with dread, a palpable reminder of the immense power wielded by Ivan the Terrible. The cultural context of the time played a significant role in shaping Ivan's reign. Russia was a nation in transition, grappling with the challenges of modernization and consolidation. Ivan's ambition to strengthen the nation, to establish a centralized state, was tempered by his deep-seated insecurities and his inherent distrust of his nobles. This combination of ambition and paranoia fueled his tyrannical tendencies, shaping his reign into a terrifying spectacle of violence and oppression. The image of Ivan the Terrible sitting on his throne, his eyes reflecting the chilling depths of his paranoia, is a haunting visual. The weight of his crown seems to press down upon him, mirroring the weight of his tyranny. His reign, a dark chapter in Russian history, serves as a powerful reminder of the destructive potential of unchecked power and the devastating consequences of fear-based governance. The legacy of Ivan the Terrible is complex and multifaceted. While he did achieve some measure of success in centralizing the Russian state and expanding its territories, the cost was immense. The bloodshed, the terror, and the widespread suffering inflicted upon his people far outweigh any perceived benefits. His reign stands as a chilling testament to the destructive potential of unchecked power and the importance of responsible leadership. The whispers of his name still carry a chilling resonance, a reminder of the dark side of human nature and the devastating consequences of tyranny. His story is not merely a historical narrative. It is a cautionary tale, a warning against the dangers of unchecked power and the importance of safeguarding against the rise of tyranny. The echoes of his reign continue to resonate through the ages, a haunting reminder of the devastating consequences of fear and oppression. Now, let us journey to the vast steppes of Central Asia, a land of sweeping plains and nomadic tribes, where the legend of Genghis Khan, a name synonymous with conquest and empire, still echoes through the ages. Imagine the wind whistling across the endless grasslands, carrying with it the whispers of a bygone era, an era defined by the relentless advance of his armies. Genghis Khan, born Temujin, united the disparate Mongol tribes under his banner, forging a formidable fighting force that would reshape the political landscape of Eurasia. His military genius was undeniable, his strategies innovative and devastatingly effective. He established a strict military code, a complex system of organization that allowed his armies to move with remarkable speed and precision. Picture the disciplined ranks of Mongol horsemen, their movements a breathtaking ballet of destruction, their arrows raining down upon their enemies. His conquests were vast and brutal. Imagine the clash of steel, the screams of the dying, the burning villages, and the cities reduced to ashes. Genghis Khan's armies swept across Asia, leaving a trail of devastation and subjugation in their wake. His campaigns were not merely military exercises. They were a systematic dismantling of established empires, a brutal reshaping of the world order. The scale of his empire was breathtaking. From the steppes of Central Asia, his armies marched westward, conquering Persia and reaching as far as the borders of Europe. To the east, they pushed into China, establishing a vast and powerful empire that spanned continents. Visualize the immense geographical expanse of his domain, a testament to his military prowess and the efficiency of his organization. The impact on conquered populations was profound and often devastating. Cities were sacked, populations enslaved, and entire cultures obliterated. The Mongol conquests brought death and destruction on an unprecedented scale, leaving an indelible mark on the civilizations they encountered. Imagine the fear that gripped the hearts of those in his path, the utter helplessness in the face of his overwhelming power. His armies were a force of nature, unstoppable and merciless. The brutality of Genghis Khan's conquest cannot be understated. Massacres were commonplace, sieges ruthless, and the treatment of prisoners often barbaric. His armies were renowned for their ferocity and their unwavering commitment to conquest. Imagine the stark contrast between the beauty of the landscape and the violence that unfolded upon it. A chilling juxtaposition that captures the essence of his reign. Yet beyond the brutality, Genghis Khan also established a system of law and order within his vast empire, implementing a unified legal code that promoted trade and communication across vast distances. He fostered religious tolerance, albeit within the framework of his absolute rule. This complex legacy continues to be debated by historians, highlighting the multifaceted nature of his reign. The lasting effects of Genghis Khan's empire are still felt today. His conquests facilitated the exchange of goods and ideas across Eurasia, connecting distant cultures in unforeseen ways. The Mongol Empire, despite its brutality, inadvertently fostered a period of relative peace and stability across the vast territories it controlled. His military innovations and administrative reforms continue to be studied, offering valuable insights into the dynamics of empire building and military strategy. The legacy of Genghis Khan remains a subject of ongoing debate, a complex tapestry woven with threads of brutality and achievement. His story is a reminder of the immense power wielded by individuals who shaped the course of history, even if their methods were ruthless and their actions morally reprehensible. The whispers of his name still carry a weight of history, a testament to the enduring impact of his reign, a reign that irrevocably altered the course of human events. His story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most remarkable achievements can be tarnished by brutality and oppression. The echoes of his conquests still resonate across the centuries, reminding us of the enduring power and terrifying consequences of unrestrained ambition. Let us now turn our attention to the shadowy realm of 15th century Wallachia, a land steeped in both beauty and brutality, a land ruled by a prince whose name became synonymous with terror, Vlad III, also known as Vlad the Impaler. Imagine the Carpathian Mountains, their peaks shrouded in mist, their valleys echoing with the whispers of a dark and violent reign. Vlad III's reign was a tapestry woven with threads of both political maneuvering and unspeakable cruelty. He ascended to the throne of Wallachia, a small principality in present-day Romania, at a time of great turmoil. The region was a battleground between the Ottoman Empire and the Kingdom of Hungary, and Vlad found himself caught in a precarious position, forced to navigate the treacherous currents of power politics. Picture the tense negotiations, the clandestine meetings, the ever-present threat of betrayal. However, it is not his political acumen that etched his name into history. It is his unparalleled cruelty. Vlad III earned his infamous moniker through his systematic and ruthless use of impalement as a method of punishment and intimidation. Imagine the forests surrounding his castles, transformed into macabre landscapes, with countless bodies impaled on stakes, their agonizing deaths a chilling testament to his power. The sheer scale of his brutality is almost incomprehensible. Historical accounts, though often exaggerated, speak of fields filled with impaled victims, a horrifying spectacle designed to instill fear and maintain control. Imagine the stench of death, the cries of the dying, the pervasive atmosphere of terror that permeated his realm. This was not merely punishment. It was a calculated display of power, a deliberate act of terror intended to crush any hint of rebellion. Vlad's methods were not arbitrary. He targeted not only his enemies, but also those who dared to oppose him, even those who inadvertently crossed his path. Imagine the constant fear that gripped his subjects, the ever-present dread of his wrath. The very air seemed to crackle with tension, a palpable sense of unease that permeated every aspect of life in Wallachia. The historical accounts of his reign are a mixture of fact and legend, blurring the lines between reality and myth. Some accounts portray him as a defender of his people, a brave warrior who stood against the Ottoman advance. Others depict him as a bloodthirsty tyrant, whose actions were driven by an insatiable thirst for power and a profound delight in cruelty. The truth, as often happens, likely lies somewhere in between these extremes. Vlad's reign, though short, left an indelible mark on the collective memory. His name became synonymous with horror, his methods a chilling example of the extremes of human cruelty. He became a figure of both fascination and revulsion, a complex character whose actions continue to inspire both fear and morbid curiosity. The legends surrounding Vlad the Impaler have grown over the centuries, intertwining with folklore and popular culture. He became a source of inspiration for Bram Stoker's Dracula, further solidifying his image as a symbol of darkness and evil. Imagine the shadowy figures lurking in the mist, the whispers of his name carried on the wind, the enduring legacy of his cruelty echoing through the generations. His story is a reminder of the dark side of human nature, a cautionary tale of unchecked power and unbridled cruelty. The image of the impaled bodies, a stark and horrifying symbol of his reign, serves as a grim reminder of the potential for tyranny and the devastating consequences of absolute power. His legacy remains a chilling testament to the extremes of human cruelty and the lasting impact of a tyrannical reign. The whispers of his name still carry a weight of history, a stark warning against the unchecked exercise of power and a chilling reminder of the darkness that can dwell within the human heart. The echoes of his reign, though distant, still resonate, a haunting reminder of the horrors that can be wrought by a tyrannical ruler. Let us now journey to the turbulent shores of 16th century England, a land grappling with religious upheaval and the shadow of a queen whose name became synonymous with bloodshed. Mary I. Imagine the gray skies above Tudor England, mirroring the somber atmosphere of a nation divided by faith. Mary I inherited a kingdom fractured by religious conflict. The reign of her father, Henry VIII, had shattered the unity of the English Church, splitting from Rome and establishing the Church of England. Her brother, Edward VI, further fueled the religious fires with his Protestant reforms. Mary, a devout Catholic, ascended to the throne, determined to restore England to the Roman Catholic fold. Picture the hushed whispers in the court, the clandestine meetings, the simmering tensions between the opposing factions. Mary's reign was short, lasting only 5 years, yet its impact on English history remains profound. Her unwavering commitment to Catholicism fueled her persecution of Protestants, a campaign of religious cleansing that earned her the infamous title Bloody Mary. Imagine the somber procession of accused heretics, their faces etched with fear, led to their trials and eventual fates. The religious climate of the time was volatile. The Protestant Reformation had swept across Europe, challenging the authority of the Pope and the established Catholic order. England, caught in the cross-currents of this religious revolution, found itself deeply divided. The old faith clashed with the new, creating a volatile atmosphere ripe for conflict. Mary's determination to eradicate Protestantism stemmed from her deep religious convictions and her desire to restore England's place within the Catholic world. She believed that the Protestant doctrines were heretical, a betrayal of the true faith. Picture the royal court, divided between those who supported the Queen's religious zeal and those who secretly opposed her policies. Her methods were ruthless and uncompromising. Through a series of brutal persecutions, she sought to eliminate Protestantism from England. Imagine the fires burning brightly, the screams of the victims echoing through the night, a chilling testament to the Queen's unwavering resolve. The burning of Protestants at the stake became a horrifyingly common occurrence, instilling terror in the hearts of those who dared to question her authority. The executions were not haphazard. They were carefully orchestrated acts of state-sponsored terror. Those accused of heresy were subjected to trials often lacking in due process, their fates sealed by the queen's unwavering commitment to her religious beliefs. Imagine the chilling atmosphere of the trials, the weight of the queen's judgment hanging heavy over the accused. Many were executed, not for any overt act of rebellion, but simply for their beliefs. Among the most notable victims were the Protestant leaders who had played a significant role in the religious changes under Edward VI. Their executions served as a stark warning to any who might dare challenge Mary's authority or question her religious policies. Picture the public executions, transforming the squares and fields into sites of gruesome spectacle, a chilling display of the Queen's power. The era of Mary's reign stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of religious intolerance and the devastating consequences of state-sponsored religious persecution. Her actions, though driven by religious conviction, left an enduring scar on English history. The fires of religious conflict, though eventually extinguished, left behind a legacy of fear and division. The memory of her reign stands as a cautionary tale of the potential for tyranny and the devastating consequences of religious intolerance. The whispers of Bloody Mary still echo through the centuries, a haunting reminder of the dark side of absolute power and unwavering religious zeal. Her reign, though brief, cast a long shadow on England, a chilling testament to the destructive power of unchecked authority and religious fanaticism. The echoes of the flames, the cries of the victims, the weight of her legacy, all serve as a somber reminder of the price of religious intolerance and the lasting consequences of a tyrannical reign. Now, let's transport ourselves to the opulent court of France, where the sun blazed brightly, not just in the heavens, but also in the person of Louis XIV, the Sun King. His reign, the longest in European history, spanned over 7 decades, casting a long shadow over French society and culture. Imagine the grandeur of Versailles, the palace that became a symbol of his absolute power, its gilded halls and sprawling gardens reflecting the immense wealth and authority of its ruler. Louis XIV inherited a France still recovering from the turmoil of religious wars. He skillfully consolidated power, eclipsing the influence of the nobility and establishing himself as the sole, unquestioned ruler. Picture him, a young man ascending the throne, gradually weaving a tapestry of absolute control, skillfully maneuvering through the complex web of courtly intrigue and political maneuvering. He meticulously crafted an image of regal magnificence, a carefully constructed persona of unwavering authority. The construction and expansion of the Palace of Versailles was a key element in Louis XIV's strategy to control the nobility. Imagine the seemingly endless construction, the constant flow of laborers and artisans, the slow, majestic rise of the palace from the surrounding landscape. By bringing the nobility to live at Versailles, he effectively neutralized their power, keeping them under constant surveillance and preventing them from forming independent alliances against him. The palace became a gilded cage, a symbol of both opulence and confinement. Versailles itself was a testament to Louis XIV's absolute power. Picture its immense scale, its dazzling interiors, its perfectly manicured gardens, a microcosm of the kingdom itself, meticulously ordered and controlled. The intricate rituals of the court, the elaborate ceremonies, the carefully choreographed interactions between the king and his courtiers, all contributed to the image of absolute monarchy. Every aspect of court life, from the most trivial to the most significant, was designed to reinforce the king's supreme authority. The lavishness of the court was not merely a display of wealth. It was a carefully calculated political strategy. The magnificence of Versailles served as a powerful symbol of the king's power and authority, impressing both foreign dignitaries and his own subjects. Imagine the glittering balls, the extravagant feasts, the dazzling costumes, a spectacle designed to awe and inspire reverence. The court became a stage upon which the king played his role with consummate skill, maintaining his image as the embodiment of absolute power. Louis XIV's reign was also marked by significant cultural achievements. The arts flourished under his patronage, with renowned artists, writers, and architects working to glorify his reign. Imagine the ateliers bustling with creative energy, the canvases brought to life with vibrant colors, the sculptures taking shape under the skilled hands of master artisans. The Sun King's patronage fostered a golden age of French culture, leaving an indelible mark on the nation's artistic heritage. However, Louis XIV's absolutism came at a price. His reign witnessed economic difficulties, and the constant warfare drained the nation's resources. Picture the burdens borne by the common people, the strain on the national treasury, the discontent simmering beneath the surface of the opulent court. His focus on military expansion and the maintenance of his lavish court led to increased taxation, placing a heavy burden on the French populace. The seeds of discontent were sown, although the full flowering of the revolution would not be seen for many years after his death. Despite the economic hardships and the seeds of revolution, the legacy of Louis XIV remains profound. His reign shaped the French state, establishing a model of absolute monarchy that would influence other European rulers. His impact on French culture and art is undeniable, his name forever linked with a golden age of artistic achievement. His long shadow stretched across the French landscape, shaping its political and cultural identity for generations to come. The image of the Sun King, radiating power and authority, continues to captivate and intrigue, a reminder of the enduring legacy of absolute rule and the enduring allure of its splendor, even amidst its inherent flaws and devastating consequences for the many who lived under his rule. The echoes of his reign, both glorious and oppressive, still resonate in the halls of Versailles and across the French nation, a testament to the complexities of absolute power and its profound and lasting impact on history. The French Revolution, a period of upheaval and radical change, gave rise to a figure whose name is synonymous with terror: Maximilien Robespierre. Imagine the swirling mists of uncertainty hanging over Paris, the air thick with the scent of revolution and the ever-present threat of violence. Robespierre, a lawyer and politician, rose through the ranks of the revolutionary movement, his eloquent speeches captivating the masses and shaping the course of the revolution. His vision of a republic of virtue, however, would lead to a reign of unparalleled terror. The storming of the Bastille, the execution of Louis XVI, the rise of the Jacobins. These events marked the escalating intensity of the revolution. Picture the streets of Paris alive with the energy of revolutionary fervor, yet also shadowed by the ever-present fear of betrayal and counter-revolution. In this climate of fear and uncertainty, Robespierre and the Committee of Public Safety gained immense power, promising to purge France of its enemies and establish a virtuous republic. Their methods, however, would prove to be brutally effective. The Reign of Terror, a dark chapter in French history, began in 1793. Picture the chilling atmosphere, the ever-present dread hanging heavy in the air, the constant threat of arrest and execution. Robespierre, with his unwavering conviction and uncompromising zeal, became the architect of this reign of terror, his influence extending to every aspect of French life. Suspicion and paranoia permeated society, leading to the widespread denunciation and execution of anyone deemed a threat to the revolution. The guillotine, a symbol of the Reign of Terror, became a ubiquitous instrument of death. Imagine the chilling efficiency of its operation, the swift and merciless end it brought to thousands of victims. The square, initially a place of revolutionary celebration, became a scene of constant death, a chilling reminder of the power wielded by Robespierre and the Committee of Public Safety. The rhythmic thud of the blade, the cries of the condemned, the hushed whispers of the onlookers, these were the sounds of the Reign of Terror. The victims of the Reign of Terror came from all walks of life: aristocrats, clergy, peasants, even revolutionaries who fell out of favor with Robespierre and his allies. Picture the diverse faces of the condemned, a cross-section of French society, all victims of the revolution's relentless pursuit of purity. The trials were often short, perfunctory affairs, with little regard for due process or evidence. Accusations were enough to condemn, and the guillotine awaited those deemed enemies of the Republic. Robespierre's relentless pursuit of virtue led to an atmosphere of paranoia and distrust. He believed he was acting in the best interests of the nation, purifying France of its internal enemies and paving the way for a virtuous republic. But his methods were brutal, his power unchecked, and his vision ultimately proved to be self-destructive. Picture the growing discontent among his fellow revolutionaries, the whispers of dissent, the plotting against his authority. The reign of terror eventually consumed its own architects. Robespierre, once the undisputed leader of the revolution, found himself facing the same guillotine he had used to execute so many others. Imagine the irony of his fate, the swift and merciless end he met, a victim of the very system of terror he had created. His execution marked the end of the reign of terror, but its legacy of violence and bloodshed would forever stain the history of the French Revolution. The Reign of Terror stands as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the seductive allure of revolutionary zeal. The chilling efficiency of the guillotine, the relentless pursuit of enemies, the pervasive atmosphere of fear, these are enduring elements of this dark chapter in history. The echoes of the Reign of Terror continue to resonate, a cautionary tale of how revolutionary fervor can easily devolve into tyranny and brutality, leaving behind a legacy of death and destruction. The stories of the victims, their individual tragedies swallowed by the immense scale of the terror, serve as a potent reminder of the fragility of human life and the devastating consequences of unchecked power, even in the name of revolution. The shadow of Robespierre in the Reign of Terror continues to remind us of the importance of vigilance, justice, and the preservation of individual rights, even amidst the chaos and upheaval of revolutionary change. Picture a vast, snow-covered landscape stretching across the steppes of the Soviet Union. A chilling wind whispers through the frozen fields, carrying with it the echoes of a regime built on fear and oppression. This is the world of Joseph Stalin, a man whose name became synonymous with totalitarian rule and whose policies resulted in the deaths of millions. His reign, though not marked by the flamboyant cruelty of some earlier monarchs, was a chilling testament to the insidious nature of unchecked power. Stalin's rise to power was a gradual ascent, marked by cunning political maneuvering and ruthless elimination of rivals. Imagine the hushed corridors of the Kremlin, the clandestine meetings, the whispered plots, the betrayals that paved his path to absolute authority. Once firmly in control, he began to reshape the Soviet Union according to his vision, a vision that prioritized absolute control and the unwavering loyalty of the populace. His methods were not flamboyant displays of cruelty, but rather a systematic dismantling of opposition and a relentless campaign to control every aspect of Soviet life. The collectivization of agriculture, a policy designed to consolidate land ownership and increase agricultural output, resulted in widespread famine and devastation. Imagine the once fertile fields lying fallow, the starving peasantry, their pleas for help lost in the echoing silence of the vast Soviet plains. The forced collectivization was not merely an economic policy. It was a tool of political control designed to break the power of the peasantry and solidify Stalin's grip on the nation. The Great Purge, a period of intense political repression and widespread executions, further solidified Stalin's power. Picture the nighttime arrests, the secret trials, the hushed whispers of fear that permeated Soviet society. Millions were accused of treason, sabotage, or counter-revolutionary activities, often based on flimsy evidence or mere suspicion. The show trials, carefully orchestrated spectacles designed to instill fear and obedience, became a chilling symbol of Stalin's absolute power. The victims, often innocent individuals caught in the web of political intrigue, vanished into the gulags, vast prison camps scattered across the Soviet Union. Imagine the harsh conditions within these camps, the brutal labor, the starvation, the disease, the sheer hopelessness of existence. These were not mere prisons. They were instruments of torture, designed to break the spirit of those who dare to oppose Stalin's regime. The chilling silence of these camps, punctuated only by the sounds of suffering and the distant echoes of forced labor, stands as a poignant reminder of the human cost of Stalin's policies. The human cost of Stalin's rule was immense, reaching into the tens of millions. Picture the countless families torn apart, the lives shattered, the dreams destroyed. The Great Purge and the collectivization of agriculture were not isolated incidents. They were integral parts of a system designed to maintain absolute control and crush any opposition. The echoes of these events continue to resonate through the Soviet Union's history, a chilling testament to the devastating consequences of unchecked power. Stalin's reign was not a spectacle of overt violence like some of the monarchs we have explored. His tyranny was colder, more calculated, more insidious. It was a slow, deliberate dismantling of individual rights and freedoms, a systematic erosion of human dignity under the guise of progress and national unity. The victims of his policies were not just numbers on a page. They were individuals, each with their own stories, their own hopes, their own losses. The echoes of Stalin's reign continue to reverberate through the landscapes of the former Soviet Union, a reminder of the chilling potential of totalitarian rule and the lasting impact of a leader's unchecked power. The stark images of the frozen steppes, the desolate gulags, the silent fields, these are not merely historical remnants. They are symbols of the profound human cost of tyranny, a cost that transcends generations and serves as a potent reminder of the importance of vigilance and the protection of human rights. The silence of those lost, the whispers of their suffering, remain a chilling testament to the dark side of human nature and the enduring power of totalitarian regimes. The legacy of Joseph Stalin serves as a somber cautionary tale, a reminder that the price of unchecked power is always paid in human lives. Imagine a world consumed by shadows, where the whispers of hate and fear replace the melodies of hope. This is the world of Adolf Hitler and Nazi Germany, a chilling testament to the destructive power of ideology and the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition. His rise to power, though seemingly improbable at its outset, was a meticulously crafted narrative of resentment and promise, woven into the fabric of a nation grappling with economic hardship and national humiliation. Picture the streets of 1930s Germany, filled with the anxieties of a nation struggling to recover from the devastation of World War I. The air crackled with discontent, a potent mixture of economic uncertainty and nationalistic fervor. Into this volatile atmosphere stepped Adolf Hitler, a charismatic orator who skillfully exploited the widespread anxieties and frustrations of the German people. His promises of national rejuvenation and the restoration of German pride resonated deeply with a populace yearning for stability and a return to national glory. His speeches, filled with fiery rhetoric and carefully crafted narratives of victimhood and betrayal, ignited a passionate following. Imagine the vast crowds gathered in the sprawling squares, mesmerized by his pronouncements, their hopes and fears mirrored in his powerful pronouncements. Hitler's rhetoric painted a vivid picture of a glorious past and a triumphant future, a vision that skillfully masked the insidious nature of his ideology and the dangers it posed. The systematic persecution of Jews and other minority groups was not a sudden eruption of violence, but rather a carefully orchestrated campaign of dehumanization and discrimination. Picture the subtle yet insidious propaganda campaigns, the gradual erosion of civil rights, the escalating acts of violence and intimidation. The Nuremberg laws, designed to strip Jews of their citizenship and rights, marked a pivotal moment in this slow descent into barbarity. Imagine the chilling efficiency with which the Nazi regime systematically stripped Jews of their possessions, their dignity, and ultimately, their lives. The Holocaust, the systematic persecution and murder of 6 million Jews and millions of others, stands as one of history's darkest chapters. Picture the concentration camps, vast and desolate landscapes of suffering and death, where millions perished under unimaginable conditions. The gas chambers, the crematoria, the endless rows of bodies. These are not mere historical abstractions. They are grim reminders of the horrors inflicted upon innocent people. The chilling efficiency with which the Nazi regime implemented its plan of extermination was a testament to its capacity for cruelty and its utter disregard for human life. The victims of the Holocaust were not merely statistics. They were individuals, each with their own stories, their own families, their own dreams. Imagine the vibrant community shattered, the lives extinguished, the cultural heritage destroyed. The echoes of their suffering, the silent screams of those lost, remain a poignant reminder of the devastating consequences of hatred and intolerance. The ashes of the crematoria, the silent emptiness of the concentration camps, the lingering shadows of persecution. These stand as permanent monuments to the unspeakable atrocities of the Holocaust. The rise and fall of Nazi Germany stands as a potent reminder of the fragility of democracy and the dangers of unchecked power. It is a cautionary tale, a chilling testament to the devastating consequences of hate-filled ideology and the systematic dehumanization of minority groups. The echoes of the Holocaust continue to resonate through the halls of history, a somber reminder of the importance of tolerance, empathy, and the unwavering defense of human rights. The memory of the victims, their stories, their struggles, their losses, these must never be forgotten, lest we repeat the mistakes of the past. The world that emerged from the ashes of World War II, though scarred by the horrors of the Holocaust, stands as a testament to the enduring power of human resilience and the unwavering commitment to never again allowing such atrocities to occur. The silent screams of the victims, the lingering shadows of the concentration camps, serve as a constant reminder of the profound human cost of hatred and the critical importance of preserving peace and understanding. Let us now journey to a land where the lush beauty of the Cambodian countryside belies a history of unspeakable suffering, a land scarred by the brutal regime of Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge. Imagine the serene rice paddies, the ancient temples, the vibrant tapestry of Cambodian culture, all overshadowed by the chilling reality of the Cambodian genocide. The Khmer Rouge, a communist revolutionary movement led by Pol Pot, seized power in Cambodia in 1975, promising a utopian agrarian society. But this promise was a cruel deception, a facade concealing a reign of terror that would leave an indelible mark on the nation's soul. Picture the bustling cities, suddenly emptied as the Khmer Rouge forcibly evacuated millions of people from urban centers into rural labor camps. Families were torn apart, their lives uprooted, their futures stolen. Imagine the relentless march towards the countryside, a forced exodus under the watchful eyes of the Khmer Rouge soldiers. The city dwellers, accustomed to a life of relative comfort and urban amenities, found themselves thrust into a harsh and unforgiving environment. The familiar comforts of home, the support networks of family and friends, were replaced by fear, uncertainty, and the ever-present threat of violence. The regime's ideology, a twisted vision of agrarian utopia, demanded the eradication of all vestiges of modern life. Education, religion, and even personal expression were deemed counter-revolutionary and ruthlessly suppressed. Picture the schools and temples, once vibrant centers of learning and faith, transformed into symbols of oppression and sites of unspeakable cruelty. The labor camps, known as killing fields, became synonymous with unimaginable suffering and death. Imagine the endless toil under the scorching sun, the meager rations, the pervasive fear. Picture the skeletal figures, their bodies weakened by starvation and disease, forced to work beyond their physical limits. The slightest infraction, a misplaced tool, a moment of weariness, could result in brutal punishment or immediate execution. The Khmer Rouge's brutality extended beyond physical suffering. The regime systematically dismantled family structures, separating parents from children, spouses from each other. Imagine the chilling separation of families, the heart-wrenching cries of children separated from their parents, the silent despair of those who knew they might never see their loved ones again. The Cambodian genocide, a systematic campaign of extermination targeting intellectuals, religious leaders, ethnic minorities, and anyone deemed a threat to the regime, resulted in the deaths of an estimated 2 million people, a quarter of the Cambodian population. Picture the mass graves, silent testimonials to the regime's cruelty, the countless unmarked bodies, the lingering scent of death clinging to the earth. The horrors inflicted upon the Cambodian people were not merely acts of violence. They were carefully planned and systematically executed. Imagine the meticulous organization, the chilling efficiency with which the Khmer Rouge carried out its campaign of extermination. The regime's systematic approach to murder, its complete disregard for human life, reveals the depths of its depravity. The Khmer Rouge regime ultimately collapsed in 1979, but its legacy continues to haunt Cambodia. The physical and psychological scars inflicted upon the nation remain deeply embedded in the collective memory. Picture the survivors, bearing the physical and emotional scars of their ordeal, struggling to rebuild their lives and their nation. The echoes of the genocide, the silent whispers of the victims, remain a poignant reminder of the devastating consequences of unchecked power and the enduring importance of human rights. The story of Pol Pot and the Khmer Rouge serves as a chilling reminder of the fragility of peace and the enduring threat of totalitarian regimes. The Cambodian genocide, a stark testament to the depths of human cruelty, underscores the importance of vigilance, tolerance, and the unwavering pursuit of justice. The silent cries of the victims, the haunting memories of the survivors, the ongoing efforts to heal and rebuild. These are all integral parts of the enduring legacy of this dark chapter in Cambodian history, a legacy that must never be forgotten. The fields where so many perished, the silent witnesses to unspeakable cruelty, stand as somber reminders of the devastating consequences of unchecked power and the enduring importance of human rights. The work of remembrance, of healing, and of ensuring that such atrocities are never repeated remains a vital task for present and future generations. Let us now turn our attention to Rome, a city once the heart of a vast empire, a center of power and influence, but also a place where the stark contrast between the opulent lives of the elite and the hardship of the common people was vividly displayed during the reign of Emperor Nero. Imagine the grandeur of Rome, its towering structures, its bustling marketplaces, its vibrant public life, all existing alongside a shadow of poverty and suffering that deepened under Nero's rule. Picture the imperial palace, a sprawling complex of buildings, gardens, and opulent apartments, a testament to Nero's extravagant lifestyle. Imagine the lavish banquets, the extravagant feasts, the endless flow of wine, the dazzling displays of wealth and power. These were the hallmarks of Nero's court, a world of unparalleled luxury and excess, existing in stark contrast to the realities faced by many Roman citizens. While Nero indulged in his opulent lifestyle, a significant portion of the Roman population lived in poverty and squalor. Imagine the cramped, unsanitary tenements, the meager rations, the constant struggle for survival. The streets of Rome, though bustling with activity, were also filled with the faces of the downtrodden, the impoverished, those struggling to make ends meet. Nero's extravagance was legendary. He commissioned colossal statues of himself, erected magnificent monuments to his own glory, and spared no expense in adorning his palaces with the finest art and furnishings. Picture these immense sculptures, gleaming in the Roman sun, each one a testament to Nero's self-aggrandizement. Envision the lavish decorations within his palaces, the intricate mosaics, the priceless tapestries, the opulent furniture, all symbols of his unrestrained spending. The cost of Nero's extravagant projects was staggering, placing an immense burden on the Roman treasury. Imagine the vast sums of money diverted from essential public services, from the maintenance of infrastructure to the provision of food for the poor. These funds, meant to support the well-being of the Roman people, were instead channeled into fueling Nero's insatiable desire for luxury and self-indulgence. Nero's lavish spending wasn't confined to grand projects and opulent palaces. His personal extravagance extended to every aspect of his life. Imagine his extravagant wardrobe, filled with silks, jewels, and precious metals. Picture the lavish banquets he hosted, the mountains of food and drink consumed, the extravagant entertainment provided. These displays of wealth and excess were not just symbols of his power. They were a blatant disregard for the suffering of his people. The contrast between Nero's opulent lifestyle and the hardship faced by the Roman people was stark and undeniable. While Nero bathed in luxury, many Romans struggled to survive. Picture the juxtaposition of Nero's opulent palace against the backdrop of the impoverished tenements, the gleaming marble against the crumbling walls, the overflowing tables against the empty stomachs. This stark contrast serves as a poignant reminder of the inequality and suffering that can exist even within the heart of a powerful empire. Nero's reign was marked not only by extravagance, but also by cruelty and tyranny. His disregard for his people extended beyond mere indifference. It manifested in acts of violence and oppression. Picture the executions, the confiscations of property, the arbitrary arrests, all further exacerbating the suffering of the Roman population. His cruelty served only to reinforce the sense of injustice and despair that pervaded Roman society during his reign. The story of Nero's extravagance is more than just a tale of excessive spending. It's a cautionary tale about the dangers of unchecked power and the devastating consequences of a ruler's disregard for the well-being of his people. Imagine the weight of Nero's actions, the enduring legacy of his reign, the lasting impact on Roman society. His extravagance serves as a stark reminder of the human capacity for self-indulgence and the crucial importance of responsible leadership. The echoes of his reign, the whispers of his excesses, remain a testament to the dangers of unchecked power and the enduring importance of compassion and empathy in leadership. The opulent legacy of Nero's extravagance, contrasting sharply with the suffering of his people, stands as a timeless warning against the corrupting influence of absolute power and the vital need for leaders to prioritize the well-being of those they govern. The reign of Emperor Caligula, though brief, remains shrouded in a haze of scandal and controversy. While separating fact from fiction in his story proved challenging, the accounts of his alleged relationships with his family members stand out as particularly shocking, reflecting not just the emperor's personal depravity, but also the profound societal implications of such acts within the rigid structure of Roman society. Imagine the imperial palace, the heart of Roman power, a place of immense prestige and authority. Yet, within its walls, according to numerous accounts, unfolded scenes of a profoundly unsettling nature. Whispers circulated among the courtiers, tales of the emperor's alleged incestuous relationships with his sisters, Drusilla and Agrippina the Younger. These were not mere whispers of indiscretion. They spoke of a complete disregard for the established moral order of Roman society, a transgression of the deepest taboos. The Roman world held family relationships and lineage in high regard. The concept of familia, encompassing the entire household and extending to generations past and future, was central to Roman identity and social structure. Marriage alliances were meticulously crafted, reinforcing political and social power. Incest, therefore, was not simply a matter of personal morality. It was a profound violation of the social order, a disruption of the very fabric of Roman society. To imagine the shock and outrage such actions would have caused amongst the Roman populace, the senators, the very foundations of Roman society, is to understand the gravity of the accusations against Caligula. The accounts detailing Caligula's alleged relationships with his sisters paint a picture of a ruler who not only disregarded traditional moral boundaries, but also used his absolute power to indulge in his desires without consequence. Picture the opulent settings, the lavish surroundings of the imperial palace, contrasting starkly with the profound violation of familial bonds that supposedly took place within those very walls. Drusilla, his younger sister, was particularly associated with these allegations. Historical accounts describe a close, almost obsessive, relationship between Caligula and Drusilla, a bond that crossed the boundaries of familial affection and entered the realm of romantic entanglement. Imagine the private chambers of the palace, the hushed conversations, the intimate moments, all shrouded in secrecy and fueled by the emperor's unchecked power. Her untimely death, attributed to illness by some, further fueled speculation and fueled the rumors already circulating within the court. Agrippina the Younger, Caligula's older sister, also featured in the accounts of his alleged incestuous relationships. Though less explicitly detailed than the relationship with Drusilla, the accounts suggest a complex and potentially fraught dynamic between the two siblings. Imagine the power struggles, the tensions, the unspoken resentments that might have existed between the emperor and his elder sister, all playing out against the backdrop of the imperial palace. The societal implications of Caligula's alleged actions were far-reaching. Beyond the immediate shock and outrage, the rumors threatened to undermine the authority of the emperor and the stability of the Roman Empire. Imagine the whispers spreading through the Roman populace, the anxieties and uncertainties that arose as the emperor's actions challenged deeply held values and traditions. The very foundations of Roman society, built upon a strict hierarchy and a defined moral code, were shaken by the accounts of the emperor's alleged behavior. The accusations against Caligula serve as a chilling reminder of the potential for unchecked power to corrupt, to erode moral boundaries, and to undermine the very structures of society. The stories surrounding his alleged incestuous relationships, regardless of their historical accuracy, highlight the devastating consequences of absolute power wielded without restraint. They offer a glimpse into the dark side of human nature, the capacity for even the most powerful individuals to commit acts of profound moral transgression. The whispers of scandal surrounding Caligula's alleged actions continue to echo through history, serving as a cautionary tale about the corrupting influence of power and the fragility of social order in the face of unrestrained authority. The weight of these allegations, regardless of verifiable truth, casts a long shadow over his reign, a constant reminder of the potential for tyranny to manifest in ways both overt and deeply personal. The legacy of these rumors, lingering even centuries later, speaks volumes about the enduring impact of actions that violate societal norms and challenge the very foundations of a civilization. The reign of Ivan IV, known as Ivan the Terrible, was a tempestuous period in Russian history, marked by both significant expansion and unspeakable brutality. But beyond the conquests and territorial gains lies a chilling portrait of a ruler consumed by paranoia, a paranoia that fueled a series of purges that cast a long shadow over his reign and left an indelible mark on the Russian psyche. Imagine the Kremlin, the imposing fortress in Moscow, the seat of Ivan's power. Within its walls, a climate of fear permeated every corner, every conversation, every hushed whisper. This was not the fear of open rebellion, but a more insidious dread, the fear of the unpredictable whims of the Tsar. Ivan's paranoia was not a sudden eruption. It was a slow, insidious growth, nurtured by years of political maneuvering, betrayals, and the ever-present threat of opposition. Picture the Tsar, a man of immense power and considerable intelligence, yet increasingly isolated, surrounded by courtiers who dared not speak their minds, lest they incur his wrath. The purges began subtly, with accusations of treason whispered in the Tsar's ear, often based on nothing more than suspicion or the machinations of rivals seeking to eliminate their enemies. Imagine the elaborate court intrigues, the carefully crafted alliances, the betrayals and counter-betrayals, all playing out against the backdrop of Ivan's growing distrust. The atmosphere in the Kremlin must have been thick with tension, a constant undercurrent of fear that ran through every vein of court life. As Ivan's paranoia deepened, so did the scope of the purges. Entire families were wiped out, their estates confiscated, their names erased from the historical record. Picture the scenes of arrest, the terrified faces of those dragged from their homes, the screams echoing through the night as families were torn apart. The accusations were often arbitrary, based on flimsy evidence or mere suspicion. A misplaced glance, a hesitant word, a perceived slight. Any of these could trigger the Tsar's wrath and lead to a swift, brutal end. The oprichniki, Ivan's personal guard, were the instruments of his terror. Clad in black, with a dog's head on their shoulders, they were symbols of the Tsar's power and the reign of terror he unleashed upon his own people. Imagine these figures, moving silently through the Kremlin's corridors and the streets of Moscow, their presence a constant reminder of the Tsar's unpredictable nature and the ever-present threat of violence. The victims of Ivan's purges came from all walks of life, from the highest nobles to the humblest citizens. Picture the opulent palaces of the aristocracy, transformed into scenes of devastation and despair as families were torn apart and their wealth seized by the Tsar. Picture the simple homes of ordinary citizens, invaded by the oprichniki, their lives shattered in an instant. The reign of terror created a climate of pervasive fear. People lived in constant dread, unsure of who might be the next target of the Tsar's wrath. Imagine the hushed conversations, the furtive glances, the constant anxiety that permeated daily life. Even those who remained outwardly loyal to the Tsar lived in a state of perpetual uncertainty, knowing that their fate could change in an instant. Trust evaporated, replaced by suspicion and fear. The arbitrary nature of Ivan's accusations is perhaps the most chilling aspect of the purges. There was no due process, no fair trial, no opportunity for defense. Accusations were tantamount to a death sentence, often delivered with little or no explanation. Picture the victims, dragged before the Tsar, their pleas for mercy falling on deaf ears. Ivan's paranoia and the resulting purges serve as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the devastating consequences of a ruler consumed by fear and suspicion. The reign of terror left an enduring legacy on Russia, shaping its political culture and leaving a deep scar on its national psyche. The echoes of Ivan's reign still resonate today, a cautionary tale about the destructive potential of tyranny and the importance of checks and balances in any system of governance. The chilling legacy of his paranoia, the arbitrary nature of his purges, and the pervasive fear they instilled linger as a somber testament to the destructive power of unchecked authority. The vast Mongol Empire, stretching across continents and encompassing diverse cultures, stand as a testament to the military genius of Genghis Khan. His conquests weren't merely the result of brute force. They were meticulously planned and executed using innovative strategies that revolutionized warfare. Let us delve into the logistical and organizational brilliance that underpinned Genghis Khan's astonishing military successes. Imagine the vast steppes of Central Asia, the wind whispering across the plains, carrying the sounds of hooves and the distant clang of weaponry. This was the landscape where Genghis Khan forged his legendary army, a force that would reshape the map of Eurasia. His success wasn't just about the ferocity of his warriors, but also about his profound understanding of logistics, organization, and adaptability. One of Genghis Khan's key innovations was the decimal system of military organization. Picture his army structured in units of 10, 100, 1,000, and 10,000, each with clearly defined roles and responsibilities. This hierarchical structure ensured efficient command and control, even amidst the chaos of battle. This wasn't just a matter of numbers. It was a system that allowed for swift responses, fluid maneuvers, and seamless coordination across vast distances. Beyond the structured hierarchy, Genghis Khan implemented a sophisticated system of communication. Imagine a network of couriers galloping across the plains, carrying vital information from the battlefield to the Khan himself and back again. This rapid communication allowed for quick adjustments in strategy, reinforcement of vulnerable points, and coordinated attacks across multiple fronts. The speed and efficiency of their communication system were critical to their success, enabling a fluidity of movement and response that often overwhelmed their enemies. The Mongols were masters of mobility. Picture their armies, light and agile, their cavalry units seamlessly traversing the vast distances of the Eurasian steppe. Their horses were not mere mounts. They were partners in war, bred for endurance and speed, enabling the Mongol armies to move with incredible swiftness, striking swiftly and retreating just as quickly. This mobility allowed them to outmaneuver, outflank, and overwhelm their opponents, constantly shifting their positions and keeping enemies guessing. Genghis Khan's armies were also exceptionally well supplied. Imagine the vast logistical networks that supported his campaigns, ensuring that his troops were always well-fed, equipped, and supplied with vital resources. This wasn't simply a matter of transporting supplies. It involved intricate planning, precise coordination, and a deep understanding of the terrain. The Mongols employed specialized units dedicated to logistics, responsible for procuring, storing, and distributing supplies to their vast armies. Furthermore, the Mongols practiced psychological warfare with immense skill. Imagine their reputation preceding their armies, spreading fear and demoralizing enemies before a single battle was even fought. They were masters of intimidation, using tactics like feigned retreats and devastating surprise attacks to shatter the morale of their opponents. The psychological impact of the Mongol army was often as effective as their military prowess. Genghis Khan also demonstrated a remarkable understanding of siege warfare. Picture his armies, skillfully employing siege engines and tactics to overcome fortified cities. They weren't simply brute force attackers. They were strategic thinkers, adapting their tactics to suit the specific challenges of each siege. Their siege expertise allowed them to conquer even the most heavily defended cities, expanding their empire at an astonishing rate. Moreover, Genghis Khan showed a remarkable tolerance for diversity within his ranks. Picture his army composed of warriors from various conquered territories, each bringing their own skills and knowledge to the battlefield. This diversity was not just a matter of numbers. It was a source of strength, allowing the Mongols to adapt to different terrains and fighting styles. His army was a melting pot of cultures and fighting styles, a testament to his strategic brilliance. Beyond the battlefield, Genghis Khan's administrative skills were equally impressive. Imagine the meticulous organization of his empire, with a clear chain of command and effective systems for tax collection and governance. He wasn't just a conqueror. He was a builder of empires, implementing systems that ensured the stability and prosperity of his vast territories. Genghis Khan's military genius wasn't about a single brilliant tactic. It was about a combination of factors: meticulous organization, innovative strategy, logistical brilliance, and a profound understanding of both the physical and psychological aspects of warfare. His legacy is not just about the vast empire he forged, but also about the enduring impact of his military innovations on the course of world history. The echoes of his strategic brilliance still reverberate across the centuries, a testament to the enduring power of planning, organization, and adaptability. The Mongol conquests remain a study in efficient military organization, logistics, and adaptive strategy, highlighting a mastery of warfare that shaped the course of history. The name Vlad III, or Vlad the Impaler, evokes images of unspeakable horror. His reign, though brief, left an indelible mark on history, not just for its brutality, but also for its calculated use of terror as a tool of governance. Let us explore the chilling effectiveness of Vlad's psychological warfare, a reign of terror designed to instill absolute fear and obedience. Imagine the landscape of Wallachia in the 15th century, a land of rolling hills and dense forests, where the shadow of Vlad's cruelty stretched far and wide. His methods weren't merely random acts of violence. They were meticulously orchestrated displays of power, designed to send a clear message to his enemies and his subjects alike. The impalement, his signature method of execution, was more than just a brutal killing. It was a carefully staged spectacle. Picture the scene: fields of impaled bodies, a macabre forest of human suffering, visible from afar. This wasn't simply a matter of eliminating opponents. It was a calculated act of psychological warfare, designed to instill terror and break the spirit of resistance. The sheer scale of the impalements, the agonizing slowness of death, served to amplify the message of Vlad's absolute power. Vlad's cruelty wasn't limited to his enemies. Imagine the effect on his own subjects, living under the constant threat of his capricious wrath. Even the slightest infraction could result in brutal punishment, fostering a climate of fear and self-censorship. This pervasive fear was a cornerstone of his reign, ensuring compliance and suppressing any hint of dissent. His subjects lived under the shadow of his cruelty, constantly aware of his power and the potential consequences of disloyalty. The psychological impact of Vlad's reign extended beyond Wallachnia's borders. Imagine the stories circulating throughout Europe, tales of his gruesome methods, tales woven into the fabric of folklore and legend. His reputation preceded him, creating an aura of fear that often proved more effective than any army. The mere mention of his name was enough to instill dread, making him a formidable opponent, even without engaging in open warfare. Vlad's psychological warfare extended to his interactions with foreign powers. Imagine his negotiations with foreign envoys, where the threat of impalement subtly permeated every conversation, shaping the outcomes of diplomatic encounters. His cruelty wasn't just a display of power. It was a strategic tool used to manipulate opponents and secure favorable terms. Consider the impact on his enemies. Imagine the demoralizing effect of facing an adversary who delighted in inflicting such horrific punishments. His brutality wasn't just about immediate physical damage. It was about breaking the will to resist, creating an environment where surrender seemed preferable to the alternative. The fear of impalement was a powerful motivator, inducing enemies to capitulate rather than face the consequences of defiance. Vlad's methods were not arbitrary. They were calculated and purposeful. The selection of victims, the location of impalements, and even the timing of these acts were often strategic choices, designed to maximize their impact and send specific messages. He wasn't simply venting his rage. He was a master of psychological manipulation, using terror as a weapon to achieve his goals. Vlad's actions reveal a profound understanding of human psychology. He knew that fear, when wielded effectively, could be a more potent tool than any army. He used it to control his subjects, to intimidate his enemies, and to shape the political landscape of his time. His reign demonstrates the chilling effectiveness of psychological warfare, a stark reminder of the destructive potential of unchecked power. The gruesome details of Vlad's reign are horrifying, but they also offer a chilling glimpse into the dark side of human nature and the potential for psychological manipulation to become a tool of tyranny. His reign serves as a cautionary tale about the insidious nature of power and the devastating consequences of unchecked cruelty. The image of Vlad the Impaler, a figure of legend and terror, continues to fascinate and horrify, a stark reminder of the dark potential of human behavior. The legacy of Vlad the Impaler remains a powerful example of how psychological warfare can be a potent tool of governance, shaping the behavior of both subjects and enemies. His reign, though brief, demonstrates the effectiveness of terror as a means of control and the chilling impact of unchecked brutality. The chilling echoes of his reign continue to resonate through history, a grim reminder of the depths of human cruelty and the insidious power of fear. The memory of his gruesome methods serves as a potent warning against the abuse of power and the dehumanizing consequences of unchecked tyranny. The stories of his reign continue to serve as a cautionary tale, reminding us of the insidious nature of fear and the dangers of unchecked power. His legacy continues to fascinate and horrify, a testament to the enduring power of terror and the enduring fascination with the dark side of human history. Vlad's reign serves as a potent reminder of the terrible consequences of unchecked ambition and the devastating impact of cruelty on individuals and societies. The chilling tales of his reign continue to resonate through the ages, reminding us of the importance of compassion, empathy, and the responsible use of power. His name remains synonymous with brutality, a chilling testament to the destructive potential of human nature and the enduring power of fear. The reign of Mary I, Queen of England, is forever etched in history as a period of intense religious conflict, a time when religious fervor fueled persecution and bloodshed. Let us delve into the religious landscape of 16th century England, exploring the deep-seated beliefs and passionate convictions that shaped Mary's actions and led to the tragic events of her reign, a reign often remembered as the Bloody Mary era. Mary's actions weren't simply the result of a tyrannical personality. They stemmed from a profound and unshakable faith. Imagine the religious landscape of England at the time, a nation grappling with the seismic shift brought about by the Protestant Reformation. The religious landscape was fractured, a turbulent sea of opposing beliefs and passionate convictions. Mary, a devout Catholic, witnessed the dismantling of the Catholic Church in England under her father, Henry VIII, and the subsequent embrace of Protestantism under her brother, Edward VI. This upheaval profoundly impacted her, shaping her worldview and fueling her determination to restore Catholicism to its former glory in England. Picture Mary as a young woman, witnessing the upheaval of the religious landscape, the dismantling of the Catholic Church, and the subsequent rise of Protestantism. This experience instilled in her a fierce devotion to the Catholic faith, a devotion that would ultimately shape the course of her reign and lead to tragic consequences. Her religious beliefs weren't merely a matter of personal faith. They were intertwined with her sense of identity, her legitimacy as a ruler, and her understanding of the very fabric of English society. The religious fervor of the time was intense, a period of deep-seated beliefs and passionate convictions that often led to extremes. Imagine the passionate sermons, the fervent prayers, the unwavering devotion, the burning conviction that their faith was the only true path, a conviction that often blurred the lines between religious zeal and religious intolerance. This intense religious climate fueled the conflicts of the era, shaping the political landscape and influencing the actions of individuals and nations. Mary's commitment to Catholicism was not merely a matter of personal preference. It was inextricably linked to her political ambitions. Imagine her desire to restore England to the Catholic fold, not only as a matter of religious conviction, but also as a way to secure her position on the throne and legitimize her rule. Her Catholic faith wasn't separate from her political goals. It was integral to her identity and her claim to power. Her actions weren't driven by a desire for personal power. They were rooted in a deep-seated religious conviction, a belief that restoring Catholicism in England was not just a religious imperative but a moral necessity. This conviction fueled her policies and shaped her interactions with her subjects, leading to harsh and unforgiving measures. Her religious beliefs weren't merely a personal matter. They were the foundation of her reign and the driving force behind her policies. Mary's persecution of Protestants wasn't random. It was part of a systematic effort to eradicate what she saw as heresy and restore Catholic orthodoxy. Imagine the religious trials, the interrogations, the condemnations, the executions, a systematic campaign to purge England of Protestant influence. Her actions weren't simply acts of cruelty. They were intended to safeguard the Catholic faith and strengthen the Catholic Church. Picture the religious martyrs, individuals who stood firm in their beliefs, facing death rather than renouncing their faith. These martyrs became symbols of resistance, fueling further opposition to Mary's rule. Their defiance served as a stark counterpoint to Mary's efforts to impose religious uniformity. The religious context of Mary's reign is crucial to understanding her actions. Imagine the intense religious fervor of the time, the passionate convictions, the unwavering beliefs, the struggles for religious supremacy, a context that shaped her actions and fueled the conflicts of her reign. Her reign wasn't just a political struggle. It was a religious war, a battle for the soul of England. The religious zeal that fueled Mary's actions had profound consequences for England. Imagine the religious divisions, the social unrest, the political instability, the bloodshed, a legacy of religious conflict that continued to shape English history for generations to come. Her actions weren't simply a historical event. They were a turning point in English history, leaving a lasting impact on the nation's religious and political landscape. Mary I's reign serves as a stark reminder of the dangers of religious intolerance and the devastating consequences of allowing religious fervor to override compassion and understanding. Her story is not simply a tale of tyranny. It is a cautionary tale about the destructive potential of religious extremism, reminding us of the importance of religious tolerance, mutual respect, and peaceful coexistence. Her reign, though brief, left an indelible mark on English history, a stark reminder of the dangers of religious intolerance and the tragic consequences of unchecked power. The echoes of her reign continue to resonate through history, reminding us of the importance of religious tolerance and the dangers of allowing religious zeal to fuel persecution and violence. The legacy of Mary I serves as a powerful reminder of the destructive potential of religious extremism and the importance of tolerance and understanding in a diverse society. Her reign, a tragic chapter in English history, stands as a testament to the destructive power of unchecked religious zeal and the profound need for compassion and understanding in a world often characterized by religious conflict. Her story remains a cautionary tale, a reminder of the devastating consequences of religious intolerance and the importance of safeguarding the principles of religious freedom and peaceful coexistence. The echoes of her reign continue to resonate, reminding us of the fragility of peace and the enduring need for mutual respect and understanding in a world grappling with religious diversity. Let us now transport ourselves to the sun-drenched gardens and opulent halls of Versailles, the magnificent palace that served as both the residence and the nerve center of Louis XIV's reign, a testament to the extravagance and power of the Sun King. Imagine the sprawling palace complex, a breathtaking spectacle of French Baroque architecture, its grandeur designed not merely as a dwelling, but as a powerful symbol of Louis XIV's absolute authority and the apex of French culture. Picture the meticulously manicured gardens, stretching as far as the eye can see, a verdant tapestry punctuated by fountains that dance to the rhythm of the water, sculpted hedges, and statues that seem to stand guard over this regal domain. Imagine the grandeur of the palace itself, a breathtaking display of opulence and artistry, its gilded interiors reflecting the power and wealth of the French monarchy. The court at Versailles was more than just a royal household. It was a meticulously orchestrated spectacle, a carefully constructed stage where Louis XIV played the leading role and the nobility performed their assigned parts. Imagine the daily rituals, the elaborate ceremonies, the meticulously choreographed movements of the courtiers, all designed to reinforce the Sun King's absolute authority and awe his subjects. The palace was not merely a place of residence. It was a carefully constructed stage on which Louis XIV played the leading role, and the nobility performed their assigned parts. Every aspect of court life was designed to reinforce the Sun King's absolute authority and awe his subjects. Imagine the elaborate ceremonies, the meticulously planned routines, the carefully choreographed interactions, all designed to underscore Louis XIV's dominance and inspire unwavering loyalty. The sheer scale of Versailles was designed to overwhelm and impress. The palace itself was an immense structure, its vast halls and chambers filled with ornate furnishings and priceless works of art. The gardens, with their meticulously manicured lawns, sculpted hedges, and cascading fountains, stretched out for miles, a testament to the king's wealth and power. Imagine the sheer size of the complex, its seemingly endless corridors and rooms, a labyrinthine world of grandeur that reinforced the king's absolute power. The court at Versailles was a microcosm of French society, a place where the nobility vied for the king's favor and sought to enhance their own status. Imagine the intricate web of alliances, the subtle power plays, the constant maneuvering for position, a world of intrigue and ambition, where the king's favor was the ultimate prize. The courtiers lived in a perpetual state of anticipation, their lives dictated by the king's whims and desires. This carefully controlled environment served to consolidate Louis XIV's power and authority. By keeping the nobility at Versailles, he effectively neutralized their potential opposition and ensured their loyalty. Imagine the constant presence of the courtiers, their lives intertwined with the king's, their fortunes dependent on his favor, a system designed to ensure their allegiance and prevent any challenges to his rule. The court at Versailles also played a significant role in shaping French culture. The palace became a center of artistic and intellectual life, attracting some of the most talented artists and thinkers of the time. Imagine the vibrant artistic scene, the lively intellectual debates, the flourishing of literature and the arts, a golden age of French culture nurtured within the walls of Versailles. The extravagant lifestyle of the court set the standard for French society, influencing fashion, art, and architecture. Imagine the elaborate fashions, the lavish banquets, the opulent decorations, a lifestyle that permeated French society and established a benchmark of elegance and sophistication. This influence extended beyond France's borders, shaping tastes and trends across Europe. The court at Versailles was a powerful symbol of French power and prestige. The magnificence of the palace and the elaborate rituals of the court served to impress foreign dignitaries and enhance France's international standing. Imagine the awe-inspiring spectacle of the court, the grandeur of the palace, the richness of the ceremonies, a display of power and prestige that reinforced France's position on the world stage. However, the splendor of Versailles masked a darker side. The court was a breeding ground for intrigue and rivalry, and the king's absolute power came at a great cost to his subjects. Imagine the immense expenditure required to maintain the palace and the court, the heavy taxes imposed on the French people to fund this extravagant lifestyle, a stark contrast to the opulent display of wealth and power. The reign of Louis XIV and the court at Versailles represent a significant chapter in French history, a period of both remarkable cultural achievements and profound social inequalities. The palace remains a breathtaking testament to the ambition and power of the Sun King, a legacy of grandeur that continues to fascinate and inspire. The legacy of Versailles is a complex one, a blend of artistic brilliance and political oppression, a reminder that even the most dazzling displays of power can conceal darker realities. The echoes of Versailles continue to resonate through history, reminding us of the enduring allure and the ultimate limitations of absolute power. The story of Versailles serves as a powerful reminder of the complex interplay between power, culture, and societal well-being, urging us to reflect on the legacy of past regimes and the enduring quest for a more equitable and just world. Let us now turn our attention to Maximilien Robespierre, a figure whose name is inextricably linked with the French Revolution and its most terrifying chapter, the Reign of Terror. He was a man of fervent ideals, a passionate believer in republican virtue and the pursuit of a just and equitable society. Yet his unwavering commitment to these ideals, coupled with a rigid and uncompromising personality, led him down a path of increasingly radical and ultimately devastating actions. Robespierre envisioned a republic founded on principles of virtue, equality, and fraternity. He believed that the French people, freed from the shackles of monarchy and aristocracy, were capable of establishing a society characterized by justice and reason. He spoke eloquently of a new social order, free from the corruption and oppression of the old regime, where citizens would be united by shared values and a common commitment to the public good. His words resonated deeply with many, fueling the revolutionary fervor that swept through France. His speeches and writings painted a vivid picture of this utopian society, a republic where reason and virtue would reign supreme. He eloquently articulated his vision of a nation united in its pursuit of liberty, equality, and fraternity, a society where individual rights were protected and social justice prevailed. His passionate pronouncements captured the imagination of many, promising a new dawn of hope and opportunity for the French people. However, Robespierre's unwavering commitment to his vision, coupled with his uncompromising nature, led him to embrace increasingly extreme measures. His belief in the inherent virtue of the revolution, and his conviction that any opposition to it was a betrayal of the public good, led him to justify the use of violence and repression. He believed that the enemies of the revolution, both real and imagined, must be eliminated to ensure the success of his vision. This belief formed the ideological bedrock of the Reign of Terror, a period of unprecedented violence and bloodshed. Under Robespierre's leadership, the revolutionary government instituted a system of mass executions, targeting anyone suspected of counter-revolutionary activity. The guillotine became a symbol of the Reign of Terror, its relentless blade claiming the lives of thousands of victims, many of whom were innocent of any crime. The disconnect between Robespierre's stated goals and his actions is stark and unsettling. He spoke of virtue and equality, yet presided over a regime that systematically eradicated dissent through violence and intimidation. He championed the rule of law, yet established a system of arbitrary justice where accusations were often enough to condemn individuals to death. He professed a love of liberty, yet suppressed freedom of speech and expression, creating an atmosphere of fear and paranoia. The Reign of Terror stands as a chilling testament to the dangers of unchecked power and the seductive allure of utopian ideals. Robespierre's unwavering belief in his own righteousness, his conviction that the ends justified the means, led him to commit atrocities in the name of virtue. His story serves as a cautionary tale, a reminder that even the most noble intentions can be twisted to justify the most horrific actions. The legacy of Robespierre remains a subject of intense debate and scrutiny. Was he a ruthless tyrant who used revolutionary ideals to mask his thirst for power? Or was he a sincere revolutionary whose vision was tragically corrupted by the exigencies of the time? His story is one of profound contradictions, a complex tapestry woven from idealism, ambition, and the brutal realities of revolution. The chilling reality of the Reign of Terror serves as a sobering reminder of the fragility of democratic ideals and the ever-present danger of unchecked power. Robespierre's unwavering belief in his own righteousness, coupled with his willingness to use violence to achieve his goals, led to a period of unparalleled bloodshed. His story underscores the importance of safeguarding individual liberties and upholding the rule of law, even in times of crisis. The legacy of the Reign of Terror continues to serve as a potent warning against the dangers of extremism and the seductive allure of utopian ideals. The careful balance between the pursuit of justice and the preservation of individual rights remains a delicate and vital challenge in the ongoing pursuit of a more just and equitable world. His tale, a complex blend of idealism and brutality, compels us to reflect on the enduring tension between lofty ideals and the harsh realities of human nature, offering a timeless lesson in the perils of unchecked power and the importance of safeguarding fundamental human rights. Joseph Stalin, the dictator of the Soviet Union for over 3 decades, wielded his power not only through brutal force, but also through the meticulous cultivation of a cult of personality. This carefully constructed image of invincibility, omnipotence, and unwavering wisdom served as a crucial instrument in maintaining his absolute control over the vast nation and its people. It was a tapestry woven from propaganda, manipulation, and the suppression of any dissenting voice. The process began subtly, with carefully crafted narratives portraying Stalin as a wise and benevolent leader, a father figure guiding the Soviet people toward a brighter future. Early portrayals emphasized his humble origins, highlighting his rise from relative obscurity to become the undisputed leader of a global superpower. This narrative resonated with the masses, fostering a sense of shared identity and national pride. Images depicting him alongside ordinary workers, sharing meals, and engaging in seemingly casual conversations, further reinforced this carefully constructed persona. As his power solidified, the propaganda became more overt and grandiose. Stalin was depicted as a near-mythical figure, possessing unparalleled wisdom and foresight. He was the architect of Soviet victories, the mastermind behind the nation's industrialization, and the unwavering protector of the socialist fatherland. His pronouncements were treated as gospel truth, his every word meticulously analyzed and interpreted by compliant media. Dissenting opinions were swiftly silenced, often with dire consequences. Portraits and statues of Stalin proliferated across the Soviet landscape, appearing in public squares, government buildings, and even private homes. These representations were not merely artistic renderings. They were powerful symbols of his authority, designed to inspire awe and reverence. His image, often depicted in heroic poses, became omnipresent, a constant reminder of his unwavering power and the need for unquestioning obedience. The propaganda machine worked tirelessly to create a sense of unquestioning loyalty and devotion. Schools, factories, and other institutions became centers of Stalinist indoctrination, where children and adults alike were taught to venerate the leader and unquestioningly accept his pronouncements. Literature, art, and music were all mobilized to celebrate his achievements and glorify his persona. Any deviation from this prescribed narrative was met with swift and often brutal repression. The cult of personality extended beyond mere propaganda. A complex network of informants and spies permeated every aspect of Soviet society, constantly monitoring the population for signs of dissent or disloyalty. Any expression of opposition, however subtle, could result in imprisonment, exile, or even execution. This climate of fear and intimidation ensured that the image of Stalin as an all-powerful and infallible leader remained firmly entrenched in the public consciousness. The suppression of alternative narratives was crucial to maintaining the cult of personality. Historians, writers, and artists were forced to conform to the official version of events, glorifying Stalin's role and minimizing or completely ignoring his atrocities. The truth about his brutal purges, the forced collectivization of agriculture, and the countless deaths caused by his policies was systematically concealed, ensuring that the public's perception of him remained largely positive. The cult of personality was not merely a tool of propaganda. It was a vital component of Stalin's power. By projecting an image of invincibility and omnipotence, he instilled a sense of fear and obedience among his subjects. This, in turn, allowed him to maintain absolute control over the Soviet Union, suppressing any opposition and implementing his policies without meaningful resistance. The carefully constructed image of Stalin, the benevolent leader, the unwavering protector, the infallible visionary, masked the brutal reality of his reign, allowing him to maintain his grip on power for decades. The legacy of Stalin's cult of personality continues to resonate today, serving as a stark reminder of the dangers of unchecked power and the seductive allure of authoritarianism. His story underscores the importance of critical thinking, the need for transparency and accountability in government, and the vital role of a free and independent press in maintaining a healthy democracy. His methods, while abhorrent, offer a chilling case study in the manipulative power of propaganda and the devastating consequences of unchecked ambition. The story of Stalin's cult of personality serves as a timeless cautionary tale, a sobering reminder of the fragility of freedom and the enduring need for vigilance against the seductive allure of absolute power. The echoes of his reign, a stark reminder of the devastating consequences of manipulating public perception, continue to resonate as a cautionary tale for generations to come. It is a story that underscores the importance of critical thinking, transparency, and the unwavering pursuit of truth in order to prevent the rise of similar tyrannical regimes. The rise of Adolf Hitler to power in Germany was not solely a product of force, but also a masterful orchestration of propaganda, a carefully crafted narrative designed to manipulate public opinion and consolidate his authority. His propaganda machine, a sophisticated network of media outlets, political rallies, and carefully designed symbols, played a crucial role in shaping the German psyche and paving the way for his totalitarian regime. Hitler understood the power of imagery and symbolism. The swastika, a potent symbol imbued with ancient connotations, became a powerful emblem of the Nazi Party, instantly recognizable and emotionally charged. The use of bold colors, dramatic lighting, and carefully staged rallies created a sense of awe and excitement, transforming political gatherings into spectacles of mass adoration. These carefully orchestrated events, meticulously planned and executed, served not just to disseminate information, but to cultivate a sense of shared identity and purpose among the participants. The Nazi propaganda machine was remarkably efficient in its dissemination of information, or rather, misinformation. The control media, including newspapers, radio broadcasts, and film, presented a carefully curated version of reality, one that consistently portrayed Hitler as a charismatic leader, a visionary who would restore Germany's greatness and reclaim its rightful place in the world. This narrative resonated with a population disillusioned by the aftermath of World War I and the economic hardships of the Weimar Republic. The promises of national revival and economic prosperity offered a compelling counterpoint to the anxieties and uncertainties of the time. The propaganda skillfully exploited existing societal anxieties and prejudices, particularly anti-Semitism. Jews were portrayed as scapegoats for Germany's problems, depicted as conspirators seeking to undermine the nation's stability and prosperity. This dehumanizing rhetoric, disseminated through various media channels, fostered an environment of hatred and intolerance, paving the way for the persecution and ultimately the genocide of millions. The carefully crafted narratives subtly shifted blame, directing public anger and resentment toward a conveniently identifiable enemy. Hitler's speeches were masterful performances, blending charisma, rhetoric, and emotional appeals to resonate with the German people. He skillfully employed techniques of repetition, simplification, and emotional manipulation to convey his message, often employing hyperbole and inflammatory language to amplify its impact. These speeches were not merely political addresses. They were theatrical performances, expertly crafted to evoke strong emotional responses from the audience, fostering a sense of unity and shared purpose. The propaganda machine also effectively targeted specific demographics, tailoring its messages to resonate with their unique concerns and aspirations. Youth were indoctrinated through organizations like the Hitler Youth, where they were taught the tenets of Nazi ideology and trained to become loyal followers of the regime. Women were encouraged to embrace traditional roles as mothers and homemakers, contributing to the stability of the nation. Workers were promised economic security and national pride, while the middle class was reassured of their social standing and the protection of their interests. The control over information was absolute. Any dissenting voices were swiftly silenced, often through imprisonment, persecution, or even murder. This suppression of alternative narratives ensured that the Nazi message remained unchallenged and uncontested, further reinforcing the dominance of the regime's propaganda. The carefully orchestrated narratives, reinforced by ubiquitous and powerful media apparatus, created a pervasive climate of fear and conformity, stifling any expression of opposition. The effectiveness of Hitler's propaganda machine cannot be overstated. It was a crucial component in his rise to power and the consolidation of his totalitarian regime. By skillfully manipulating public opinion, exploiting existing social anxieties, and suppressing dissent, the Nazi propaganda machine created a society receptive to Hitler's ideology and willing to accept his increasingly authoritarian policies. The techniques employed by the Nazis remain relevant today, serving as a chilling reminder of the power of propaganda and the importance of critical thinking, media literacy, and the protection of free speech in a democratic society. The legacy of Hitler's propaganda machine is a cautionary tale, a somber reminder of how easily manipulation can lead to the erosion of democratic values and the rise of tyranny. Its effectiveness underscores the enduring need for vigilance against the seductive allure of authoritarianism and the importance of preserving the principles of freedom and truth. The carefully constructed narratives, designed to manipulate emotions and control information, serve as a stark reminder of the dangers inherent in unchecked power and the fragility of democracy. The echoes of this meticulously orchestrated campaign continue to resonate, a chilling testament to the devastating consequences of propaganda and the crucial role of critical thinking in maintaining a free and informed society. Pol Pot, the enigmatic leader of the Khmer Rouge, envisioned a utopian Cambodia, a society cleansed of its perceived impurities and reborn as a self-sufficient agrarian community. This vision, however, was a cruel paradox, a dream built on the foundations of terror and resulting in the devastating destruction of Cambodian society and the deaths of millions. His pursuit of this idealized rural existence led to one of the most horrific genocides of the 20th century. The Khmer Rouge regime, under Pol Pot's iron grip, sought to erase Cambodia's urban past, its intellectual elite, and its modernizing influences. The cities were emptied, their inhabitants forcibly relocated to rural agricultural collectives. This mass exodus, carried out with brutal efficiency, was a deliberate attempt to obliterate the vestiges of Cambodia's pre-revolutionary past and to create a society molded in the image of Pol Pot's agrarian ideal. This ideal, however, was not a benevolent vision of rustic simplicity. It was a ruthlessly enforced system where individual freedom was crushed and human life was valued only for its contribution to agricultural production. The intellectual class, perceived as a threat to the regime's control, was systematically eliminated. Doctors, teachers, engineers, and artists, those deemed to represent the corrupting influence of modernity, were subjected to torture, execution, or forced labor. Their skills and knowledge were systematically eradicated, leaving Cambodia bereft of its intellectual and professional capacity. The forced relocation to rural areas transformed the lives of millions. Families were torn apart, traditional social structures were shattered, and the fabric of Cambodian society was ripped asunder. The agricultural collectives, far from being idyllic havens of self-sufficiency, became sites of starvation, disease, and relentless forced labor. The regime's brutal methods of enforcement and a lack of adequate resources resulted in widespread famine and death, adding to the already devastating toll of the regime's purges. Pol Pot's agrarian utopia was not merely a failed economic experiment. It was a calculated and systematic program of extermination. The regime's ideology, a warped interpretation of Marxist-Leninist principles, justified the elimination of anyone deemed to be an enemy of the revolution. This broad definition of an enemy encompassed not only intellectuals and urban dwellers, but also ethnic minorities, religious leaders, and even those perceived to be insufficiently devoted to the regime's cause. The process of extermination was characterized by unspeakable cruelty. Mass executions, torture, and forced starvation were employed with chilling efficiency. The killing fields, scattered throughout the Cambodian countryside, became grim symbols of the regime's brutality, bearing silent witness to the unimaginable suffering inflicted upon the Cambodian people. These sites, now chilling memorials, stand as stark reminders of the regime's calculated savagery and the devastating consequences of unchecked power. The Khmer Rouge regime's pursuit of Pol Pot's vision of an agrarian utopia resulted in a profound and lasting trauma for Cambodia. The loss of life was staggering, the cultural destruction immeasurable, and the social fabric irrevocably torn. The Cambodian people suffered not only from the physical atrocities of the regime, but also from the deep psychological wounds inflicted by the violence and the destruction of their society. The legacy of Pol Pot's reign continues to cast a long shadow over Cambodia, shaping its national identity and its ongoing struggle for healing and reconstruction. The story of Pol Pot's agrarian utopia is a cautionary tale, a stark reminder of the dangers of ideological extremism and the devastating consequences of unchecked power. The pursuit of a seemingly noble ideal, when pursued through violence and oppression, can lead to unimaginable horrors. The Cambodian genocide serves as a grim testament to the fragility of human life and the importance of protecting human rights and democratic values. The echoes of this brutal experiment continue to resonate, a somber reminder of the devastating price of utopian dreams built upon the foundations of terror and violence. The chilling legacy of Pol Pot's regime stands as a stark warning against the dangers of unchecked power and the seductive allure of extremist ideologies. The pursuit of an agrarian utopia, devoid of compassion and respect for human life, resulted in unspeakable suffering and a profound legacy of trauma. The Cambodian people's resilience and their ongoing journey towards healing serve as a testament to the enduring strength of the human spirit in the face of unimaginable adversity. The memory of this tragic chapter in history remains a powerful reminder of the importance of vigilance in safeguarding human rights and preventing the repetition of such atrocities. As the whispers of power fade into the quiet stillness of the night, we find ourselves reflecting on the tapestry of tyranny woven throughout history. The tales we have recounted, each a chilling testament to the abuse of power, share a common thread: the seductive yet devastating allure of absolute rule. From the opulent extravagance of Versailles to the desolate killing fields of Cambodia, the human cost of unchecked ambition remains a stark and enduring legacy. These monarchs, these figures of immense power and influence, remind us of the fragility of human nature. Their reigns, marked by cruelty, oppression, and unimaginable suffering, serve as cautionary tales, echoing through the corridors of time. They remind us that power, when unchecked, can corrupt, twisting even the noblest intentions into instruments of destruction. The seductive nature of absolute power, the intoxicating feeling of unbridled control, can lead even seemingly rational individuals down paths of unimaginable brutality. The stories we have shared reveal a recurring pattern: the manipulation of fear and the suppression of dissent. Whether through propaganda, carefully crafted cults of personality, or the brutal enforcement of iron-fisted rule, these monarchs maintain their grasp on power by silencing any opposition, real or perceived. Their reigns demonstrate the insidious nature of fear as a tool of control, its ability to stifle critical thought and encourage blind obedience. The suppression of dissent, the silencing of opposing voices, created an environment where atrocities could be committed without question or resistance. The human cost of these reigns is immeasurable. Millions perished, their lives extinguished by the whims of those who held absolute power. Families were torn apart, communities shattered, and entire cultures irrevocably altered. The legacy of these tyrannical rulers is not merely one of political oppression. It is a legacy of profound human suffering, a testament to the devastating impact of unchecked power on the lives of ordinary people. The echoes of their actions resonate through generations, shaping the political landscape and influencing the very fabric of society. Yet, amidst the darkness, there is a glimmer of hope. The very act of remembering, of acknowledging the atrocities committed in the name of power, serves as a powerful antidote to the seductive allure of tyranny. By studying these historical figures, by understanding the mechanisms of their power and the devastating consequences of their actions, we can learn to safeguard against the repetition of such horrors. The collective memory of these tyrannical reigns serves as a powerful reminder of the importance of vigilance, of the constant need to uphold democratic principles and to protect human rights. As the sounds of the throne room fade into silence, let us carry with us the lessons learned from these chilling tales. Let us remember the victims, their suffering a stark reminder of the price of unchecked power. And let us strive to build a world where the abuse of power is not tolerated, where the voices of dissent are heard, and where the human cost of ambition is never again forgotten. The echoes of power, though haunting, can serve as a guiding light, illuminating the path towards a more just and equitable future. Let us learn from the past, so that the mistakes of history are not repeated, and the lessons learned from these tyrannical reigns serve to protect future generations from the horrors of absolute rule. The silence that follows the echoes of power is not an ending, but a call to vigilance, a reminder of the importance of safeguarding human rights and democratic values.